Hey, it's Maddie.
And it's Caressa.
You're not watching the Disney Channel right now.
You're listening to
Dreadfully Twisted.
We are back.
Hi, everyone. We missed you.
We did. And we just want to apologize again for our technical difficulties last episode on the audio.
Yeah.
We are so sorry. And we were having audio issues today. But I think this time it just be my laptop that is giving us issues. So let's hope for the best.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here. My laptop's like dying. Like not wanting to work for me anymore.
It's rude.
Very rude. So
it's our 25th.
Woo! And then in the I think the 24th of May will be our 1 year doing the podcast. I think. So that's also exciting.
Yes. We'll have to do a special one for that too.
Yeah.
We have a fun one in store for you guys today.
Woo! Yes, we do. But before we get into that, I wanted to show you this video.
I'm so excited to see.
So last night, I was making a ribbon rose for the first time by scratch with like ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me like an hour and a half. So then at the end, I Snapchatted my sisters. And I also sent it to Crystal because she was the one that sent me the video to like make these. So I was just going to keep her updated. So I was making them. And I was just like, this is not turning out how I want it to. So like whenever I was doing the video, I was showing it. And at 18 seconds, you'll see something.
Oh.
Then, and then here's the slower version, which I sound ridiculous because it's going like, but you'll see it come up, and then it'll come back down, and then it like morphs. So it's definitely an orb.
Yeah. That's crazy. Whoa.
Isn't that like insane?
Yeah.
And I didn't even like know.
Yeah.
Because like I just sent it because I was frustrated with the roast. I just sent it to my sisters.
Aw.
And then like Jackie was like, there was an orb in that video.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, at 18 seconds. I was like, what? So then I saved the video because I also sent it to my story on Snapchat. So I saved it. And then I was like, okay, let me try to like do some investigating here. So then I slowed it down and I was like, oh my gosh.
It was literally moving around too.
Yeah.
So like you could tell that it was an orb and not just like dust or something in the camera because it was literally like bouncing around, like moving.
Yeah, and I'll post it on our TikTok. I'll post the regular version and then I'll post the slowed down version for you all to see. But like, that was insane.
That is crazy.
Because like, after my sister said that it was like an orb, I was like, I think we have an old lady ghost in our house.
You told me about that. Yeah.
I also feel like that might be my grandma because like tomorrow is Mother's Day.
Aw,
and like I was upset about the rose and maybe she was being like, hey, you did a good job, don't be upset or something. Or I don't know, but like I was just like, whoa, like that's like the first time like I caught something on camera.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's insane. Like,
I'm
is freaked out, but it's so cool.
That is cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to share that because that happened last night. I like probably like 7 o'clock that happened.
Yeah.
Like 7 something. But yeah, that was my Friday.
Orb Friday.
Right. Begin the weekend with.
Yes.
So today we do have a special episode.
Yes, we do. It's gonna be a good one.
So we're going to be doing Glitch in the Matrix stories, which I'm super excited about because like, would you consider the Mandela effect a glitch in the Matrix?
Maybe.
Because I do have a story from my mom that she told me.
Yeah, you should tell
me. You can go first though because I don't know if she'll be okay with me, but I'll make sure tomorrow whenever I see her. But like, is it okay if I read that story? Because if not, I can just edit it out.
Okay.
But she should be fine with it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm drinking water and I can't drink the water right away.
So I found some of these on Reddit because I'm obsessed with Reddit for no reason. So yeah, I was just making sure this wasn't like coming out and that.
Yeah,
was
just be careful with it. Don't pull it. Like your cord's really long, so just make sure it doesn't get stuck on anything. And I'll keep an eye on here to make sure that it's where it should be and not like small.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I feel so bad.
No, it's okay. I was just hoping it wasn't my fault, like that it wasn't like coming out or anything.
I don't think it was, but like it sucks because where it cut out on you was right before our really funny part.
Aww.
So then I couldn't even put that in a clip because like you couldn't hear you, and then I was like trying to like make you louder, and I was like, I feel so bad, you can't hear me. I was like, ugh. I was like, this is awful. I felt terrible.
So
like you couldn't hear like the other half of this, the one that completes it.
Yeah. Hopefully,
it won't happen again. Yeah, I'll just keep an eye on this video waves here.
Okay, so this thread was called Reddit. Tell me your glitch in the Matrix stories, and someone put a too long didn't read thing. You know, so it's like for like longer stories, they just put like a summary of it. Found strange quantum egg at breakfast. Ate it. Did not gain superpowers. That was disappointing. Okay. I'm talking weird occurrences. Coincidences you haven't been able to easily explain. I'll start. We have a breakfast laid on a work. I can't talk. What the heck was that? Wow. Talking is hard, everybody.
Talking is hard. I need to make us shirts and we just wear that every time.
Exactly.
Talking is hard.
I just totally like did not even read that right. Let me just start that over and just rehinge.
Rehinge, rewind, restart. Sorry.
Yes. The 3 R's.
R.
We have oh my god.
We're a mess today.
Can Maddie get it together? I don't know.
I mean, I was just dying on water.
Yeah, can we get it together? We don't know.
Hopefully. Just hang in there. It'll get better.
It will. We have a breakfast laid on at work every morning. Just a simple buffet of eggs, bacon, what have you. Nothing huge, and it's really only to feed about a dozen people or so. I am usually one of the first guys from my team to get to work, and the kitchen was deserted as usual. I walk into the little kitchen. There was a ceramic egg tray thing with 12 eggs in it, like the bottom half of an egg carton with the socket for each egg. All spaces are filled with warm, freshly boiled eggs. I take one, walk over to the garbage bin, chuck at the shell, then I walk back over to the food and stop. There are 12 eggs in the tray again.
Oh my god.
No one entered the room while I was peeling. I touched the mystery egg, and it was the same temperature as all the other eggs around it. Not a big thing, nothing major, but something very strange. Given one does not get presented with strange eggs from a parallel universe every day. I peeled and ate that one too.
Extra egg for you.
Yeah. That's so weird though. That's like one like wasn't creepy, but like that was funny.
It's like the universe was like, you didn't have enough.
Yeah.
You need more there.
Here's an extra egg. Thanks, universe.
But I also want to say, like, you have like a breakfast buffet every morning at work. I would
know.
love that.
I know.
That would make my work so much better.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of work though.
Maybe you'll find a mysterious quantum egg. Maybe it'll give you superpowers. Maybe you'll be able to fly, and then we could fly everywhere.
I wouldn't want to fly.
You want to fly?
I would want to be like the Flash.
Oh, that's a good one.
And be able to move fast because I
can
get so much done.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm so busy all the time, so I could get so much done if I was the Flash.
You could do literally anything if you were the Flash. Like, you would be so fast, you could literally, like... This is what I think of when I think of superpowers. I'm like, say I wanted to go to an amusement park. I could go for free. I could just, like, run in there and they won't even see me, or fly in there and they won't even see me. Like,
yeah, that's why I would want to be the Flash. Plus, like, the Flash is my favorite DC superhero, so I would want to be the Flash because, like, that's awesome. You can, like, go through walls and, like, run fast. You could go back in time. You could go in the future. Like, you could do everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Did you want to tell your story?
So I got mine from an article. But if I told you what I saw last night, you would not believe me. Like, I can't even wrap my head around it, so here it goes. I went to do laundry around 2 a.m. with my oldest son. After we put the laundry in, we went to a McDonald's drive-thru to get something to drink. The drive-thru was packed with about 5 or 6 cars ahead of us. I noticed none of the cars were moving forward, and it had been like 5 minutes already waiting. So I decided to go around the car in front of me to the next drive-thru lane. McDonald's has 2 lanes. As I'm pulling around them, I look into their car to see why they're not moving, and I kid you not, both people, driver and passenger, looked dead. Oh my god.
That's terrifying.
Heads tilted all the way back, eyes shut, not moving, dead. I freaked out and tried to pull out of the drive-thru, entirely going around the other cars just to get out of there, and the next car I passed, all the passengers also looked dead, heads tilted back, eyes shut. I panicked, thinking maybe they were all shot or someone killed them. So I hit the gas and got out of there. My son called 911 and told them what happened, and they sent an officer to check. A few minutes later, the cop called us back and said everything was fine at McDonald's. Mind you, my son saw it too. We both saw the car in front of us. People looked dead. This was terrifying. It literally looked like one of those rapture movies or the end of the world type of movies. Needless to say, I can't wrap my head around what we saw or why. I'm still scared over it.
That's literally terrifying.
I don't even know how to even react to that. Like,
I would be traumatized.
Right? And then like here, I guess it says top theory, excluding the possibility of hallucination due to fatigue, some kind of jumping between parallel universes.
Crazy. Wow.
That would be, I can't even fathom. Like, I got chills reading that. Like, what?
Now I really want to know, like, why? Like, why? What that? Like,
why
was it
does
like
this
paranormal? Was it a glitch in it? Like that literally is terrifying.
Right?
I would literally like,
and like, how do you even like deal with that after seeing it? And then like you call and be like, hey, we saw this, and then the cops go there and everything's fine. Like, they must have like jumped dimensions or something, because what? Like, I can't even.
That's crazy.
This is why I love these stories.
I know, me too.
They're so like baffling, and you're just like, how does like the world work? Like, you don't know exactly like how it works. Like, how would that even happen? Just like the egg, like like did somebody in another universe like turn around, the egg was like not there because it was accidentally like in the wrong universe there, because like maybe they wanted to go grab it and it just disappeared. Like, so I don't know, that's crazy. Like,
that's crazy.
Ooh.
I don't even understand. That literally, I don't know if I've ever told you about this, but I seen this TikTok one time of this guy took a video like from his apartment building or whatever of this lady that was walking her dog outside of the window, and she was literally just frozen there, like mid-step, not moving at all. The dog was mid-step, not moving at all.
And that's weird for a dog.
Like, if that was fake, that dog would have been moving.
Yeah,
there's no
reason. You can't train your dog to be like, sit still.
And he
put
was
your paw out
exactly,
like
and it's not like it was like, because he was talking while he was recording. He's like, "What is going on?" Like, that was not fake. Like, that I totally believe that one, because like there is no. How can you even stage that? That's like impossible. Crazy. Also, I probably would have freaked out if I would have saw that in real life. Like,
and like, how does that lady and dog just go back to normal? Like, did they know they stopped, or like
probably just like randomly start walking again? That's just like,
but like like with them, like, did like no time pass and they were just walking?
Probably. That's
like,
I've heard stories like that
makes
before.
me freaked out. Like, what if I do that? And
I know.
Like, I don't know. I don't know right now.
You know,
I'm scared. Okay, I'm excited to hear more.
Okay, here's another Reddit story. This will probably get buried. When I was around 20, a few years ago, I kept having dreams about a woman with long black hair named Aurora.
Oh no. I don't like where this is going.
They were different dreams, but for some reason, her distinct face and name always ended up in them. It got to the point where I would wake up frustrated and confused, trying to Google her name or find out how I was connected to her. After a few months, she stopped showing up, and I dismissed it, thinking my brain was just being a scumbag. That's a funny way of describing it.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few years later, Halloween 2009. I'm in the car with a friend, stopped at a gas station. I'm about to pull out and merge onto a highway when I get a phone call from a random number. So I stopped the car, but no one answered. There was a person behind me who grew impatient, honked at me, and then swerved in front of me. instead of waiting for 2 seconds for me to move. The second they got on the highway, a silver Civic loses control of their wheel and crashes into the car that swerved in front of me.
Oh my.
I called the cops and waited at the gas station for them to come. Turns out the drivers of both cars died. It 100% would have been me if I hadn't got that phone call. I called it back a few hours later out of gratitude and curiosity. It rang 3 times and went to voicemail. It said, "Hi, you've reached Aurora. Please leave your name and number." Never had goosebumps like that in my entire life.
Okay.
I know that gave you...
I have goosebumps all over my body, like, and then I'm also tearing up because, like, I've heard so many stories about that. And it's just crazy because, like, that was, like, what I believe happened in that instance. It's like your guardian angels put that in there so that they would save you from that. So, like, wow, that's crazy.
I know. I forgot there was a little bit more.
Oh, there is? Okay,
yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Called it again the next day because I was confused about the whole situation. Some woman answers, we get to talking. I tell her my story and the dreams that I had. She tells me she doesn't know how I got her number, and that she never called me as far as she remembers. Weird. I asked her if she had a Facebook to confirm it was in fact the woman in my dreams. I checked her Facebook. It's her. If that's not a glitch in the Matrix, then I'm just batshit crazy.
That's crazy.
That's literally insane.
Oh my gosh. I have chills still. They're just like tingling all of my body.
She didn't even like remember like calling him. Like that's crazy. Wow.
Wow. Okay. Wow. These are so... Wow.
I know.
So this one's like really short, but here's the next one. It's still on that article. All mine are going to be on that article. Before making an offer on our house, my husband and I went for a viewing with our 3-year-old daughter, whom we left with the babysitter. The first time we saw the house, as we walked in, I told her she could choose a bedroom. She said, "I want the dinosaur room," and she ran upstairs. Okay, 3-year-olds say random stuff. A moment later, she called out, "Here it is," and sure enough, the closet of her room was covered with dinosaur stickers. My husband, the realtor, and I were all freaked out. The kid acted like she knew the stickers were there, but none of us remembered seeing them before, and we certainly hadn't talked about them. The house was vacant and immaculately clean. It was an estate sale. We left the stickers up. So the top theory on this one, because this one has theories, a ghost or other paranormal entity in the house communicated with the child to let them know. But still...
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. I gotta put my jacket back on. I'm cold.
I feel like she probably was like having dreams about it or something.
Yeah, like...
Crazy. Okay, here is another Reddit one. They put another too long didn't read. Even though it's not that long. I may have connected to an alternate universe through a telephone answering machine.
Oh my.
This happened about 15 years ago. I called my friend up and he wasn't home, so I left a message on his answering machine. I said, "Hey, it's me. Sorry I missed you. I'll call you later. Bye." And then I hung up and left the house. I made no other calls. Later that day, he called back and says, "Wow, that was quite the message you left. Who was that girl you were talking to?" I was like, "What are you talking about? I wasn't talking to any girl." Well, as it turns out, the message didn't end after. I said, "Bye." I had to go over to his house and listen to this message a few times. After my initial message that I did leave, there was a slight pause, and it continues for another 30 to 40 seconds or so with me talking to some girl.
Oh my.
It was my voice, but a conversation I never had with a girl whose voice I didn't recognize. You could compare it to the message I know I did leave, and the two voices were indistinguishable. Not just the voice, but, talking mannerisms. It was my voice. Also, references to my occupation and activities were the same. Basically, in this conversation, I was talking to this girl about going skiing, but I had to go down to my shop and work on a car first, which totally correlated to me. Then the message just stopped. It was recorded on the message to a chip, so there was no tape I could have taken and had analyzed. Unfortunately. Why do I keep thinking there's more? I make it seem like there's a comma and there's a period.
That's okay.
Also, neither I nor my friend had party lines, so that's not an explanation. It was very freaky. I can't explain it.
Wow.
That's so weird.
That is weird.
I'd be thinking there was like a mimic or something.
Oh, I hate those.
I know.
Those freak me out.
We need to do an episode on those.
Yeah.
They're terrifying.
They are terrifying. Oh, those freak me out a
Me
lot.
too.
That's crazy. Like, that could have been. But, like, at the same time, he didn't talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
And the voicemail ended. And then his friend got... That's weird.
It's so weird.
Had it been, like, a glitch in the Matrix where, like, on, like, in another universe, he was actually talking to that girl.
That's what I think,
And then his friend, like, got the message instead of the right person.
That's crazy.
Ugh.
Also creepy. I would be freaked out if I was him.
Ooh, this next one is about time slipping.
Oh, no. Uh-oh.
Okay, so this was circa 2002. I was about 8. Me, my dad, and my stepmom at the time were on our way from California to Tennessee by plane. Once we landed, we got out of the plane and waited for my dad to turn on his phone to call my aunt, who was waiting for us at the airport. We wait a couple of minutes, and my dad has a ton of missed calls from my aunt freaking out about where we were. He called her back, and she's asking us where we've been and says that they've been waiting for 2.5 hours. We were pretty confused because our flight got there in a normal amount of time without delays, but we somehow lost 2.5 hours of our time. Time change from California to Tennessee aside. Once we met up with them down at baggage, our carousel was completely empty of luggage and other passengers. We had to go pick up our baggage somewhere because they had been unclaimed for too long. Still don't know what happened for how we lost this much time. It felt very weird and surreal for the rest of the night. Ooh, and the top theory for this one is time slipping or another type of temporal anomaly.
Wow.
How do you lose 2 hours and don't even know it?
I know, that's literally terrifying.
Could that be like, oh my gosh. So could that be like how we were talking about earlier where the lady and the dog stopped?
Yeah, exactly.
And then like they just continued and like this could have been the same thing. Yeah. Like they stopped, but they didn't notice that they did.
And then they just continued like nothing, like no time even passed.
I wish you could see our faces right now. Like
we're like, oh my God.
Here we are like analyzing this and figuring this out.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
I love like reading all these.
I know.
All these stories.
So interesting to me, and I love like watching these TikTok videos.
I know.
Because like it's just crazy. Like, do we live in a simulation?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, are we the Sims?
Are we the Sims? Is someone controlling our every move?
Be freaky.
It would.
I'll think about that.
Did y'all do that or did I? Here is another one. Driving home on a stormy day, I see that a side road up to the local golf course is blocked off by flashing barricades. I also seen a Mercedes parked past the barricades with its hazards on. I stop and walk up to the car to see if they need help. I'm an EMT. I shine my light in the back seat to see a man slumped over, apparently asleep. Thinking I've got a few drunks, I move up to the driver window and tap on the glass and shine my light in. The driver is sitting bolt upright, unmoving, staring straight ahead.
Oh no.
That's terrifying. I would literally like
run
and walk away and never come back. My window or light doesn't wait. My window tapping or light doesn't cause him to blink, flinch, or move. I look over, and the passenger is slumped forward onto the dash. This begins to creep me out. I call down to the sheriff's station and request a code 2, which is no light/sirens, unit up to my location to help me check them out. While on the phone, I walk back to my truck to get my go bag as I'm on the phone with dispatch. He asked me to get a license number for the car just as PG&E, which is a power company, cherry picker truck comes rumbling down from the closed road. I moved to go around the truck to get the license plate number, and the car is gone. I talked to the driver of the truck, and he said there was a 80-foot tree down across the road, and that he didn't think it would be open for a day or so. So the question is, where the hell did the car go? The tree is up one way, barricades down the other way. It has kept me a bit unsettled when stopping at accidents or hazards since then. That car, like, literally wasn't even there. That's terrifying. Ghost car.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, maybe... Oh, my God. That is so scary.
I know. And the fact that guy wasn't even moving, he was just staring straight out. I would probably have nightmares for the rest of my life.
Yeah, like if he was just like I can't even wrap my head around.
Yeah.
That. Wow.
And she goes around the truck and it's gone.
Bless you.
Thank you.
That is crazy.
It is crazy.
Wow. These are freaky.
I know.
Okay, so the next one. Something weird is happening in our town and only my family seems to notice. The first thing we started noticing were duplicates. We would see someone somewhere only for them to inexplicably end up somewhere else. For example, my mother and I saw and chatted with an old friend at the grocery store, and when we arrived home later, we saw on Facebook that this person was out of the country on vacation and had been for a few days. They had no memory of speaking to us either. Oh my god. This might be like a mimic thing.
Oh no.
Oh, like that's just what I'm getting from this so far, but let me keep going. I've taken phone calls that were duplicates of calls I had already taken with another person, swearing they hadn't spoken yet. The scariest thing, though, has been the deaths. There have been about 4 deaths in our community of very well-known and influential people, and every one of them has died twice. We hear about their deaths and see all the RIP posts on Facebook. We see the community fundraisers put on to raise money for the funerals and even the cars at the church or funeral home, only for these same people to die a week or 2 later, and all the RIP posts and fundraisers happen again. Only our family seems to notice these things happening. My mother and siblings and my 2 kids. We don't know what's happening. It's starting to scare us.
Wow. Terrifying.
How does... Like, that's freaky.
It is.
It's like... It's happening to them twice.
I know. It's so weird.
And they're the only people. So, like, it makes me think, like, they have to be, like, somehow jumping through different universes or something. Wow.
That's crazy. These are just all, like, insane. I can't even wrap my head around any of them.
Yeah, because, like, I want to try to explain them, but, like, there's really no explanation besides, like, it's a glitch in, like, life.
Exactly. Like, what is happening?
Or they're jumping universes somehow. I don't know.
Spookiness is what it is.
Yeah, it really is.
This happened to me in 3rd grade, and it scared me so much I started crying and had to go to the office to talk to the principal about it. I was in the hallway for misbehaving, and my neighbor Tad, a year younger than me, came walking out of a class to my right, passed in front of me, and headed down some stairs. We said hi to each other. About 20 seconds later, he walked out of the same class, passed in front of me, and headed down the stairs. I just stared at him, confused and afraid, and he looked back at me like, why the F are you looking at me like that? I never realized how much it was like Matrix deja vu, and they also wrote edit. I thought of a second example of this, and as long as this thread is so popular, I may as well share it. A few years after this incident, my sister and I were hanging out in the living room watching TV. We both saw our mom walk through the other room and through the adjacent hall. Maybe 20 minutes later, she came in from the backyard. My sister and I looked at each other confused and asked her how she got back outside. She didn't know what we were talking about. She had been outside for hours. No one else was home, of course.
Oh my god.
That is so weird. And the fact that it happened twice to the same person is a little concerning. That's crazy. The fact that he, like, just imagine, like, Jeremy coming out of the bedroom and he goes to the bathroom and then, like, 2 seconds later,
he, like, comes up the stairs.
Does it again.
Oh.
Like, huh?
I'd be like, did you have to go to the bathroom twice? Or like,
how did you get out of the bathroom? Thought you were in the bathroom? Like,
it's like it like rewinded or something and then like it replayed it. I'd be freaked out if that happened.
And her mom too. Like, what? Oh my god.
Yeah. So sorry about that. For some reason, we had the audio issue, but I caught it right now, so
yes.
No editing later. So I'm going to reread this story because I read it once, but here we go. When I was little, my parents had a painting of a soldier in uniform. I could see it was from my... Okay. Oh, gosh. Okay. Let's try that again. When I was little, my parents had a painting of a soldier in uniform. I could see it from my bed when the door was cracked. Several times when oh my god, I cannot read this. Why is my brain just like not working?
Talking is hard.
Talking is so hard. I could see it from my bed when the door was cracked. Several times I saw the man in the painting move his head and look at me. The scariest experience was after I begged my parents to get rid of the painting. My dad calmed me down and I started to drift to sleep. but I had that feeling where you are being watched. When I opened my eyes, and I have never forgotten this, the soldier turned his head and smiled. The next day, my dad threw the painting away. Years later, my dad told me he had heard me moving around in my bed and was looking down the hall trying to decide if he should check on me again. While glancing down the hallway, he saw the man in the painting turn his head and smile.
So scary.
It is so scary. And like, also the parent, why did you get rid of it right then and there?
I know, yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna let my child sleep with this for one more night and get rid of it in the morning.
He'll be all right. He'll deal with it tomorrow. I'm too tired.
But like, I know I've had things like that happen, like whenever I was younger and I had dolls, and it looked like they were like looking at you. Mm-hmm. Now I'm wondering, were they actually looking at me and moving their eyes, or was I just so tired?
Oh god.
Because you know how when you're tired and you think you see things.
Yep.
Oh no, I'm scared.
Why is life so scary? Why is there so many scary things?
Right?
I would be traumatized. I would never forget that ever.
Me either.
This happened at a friend's place back in 2008. When we were all teenagers, we had a cool shed at a friend's that we would hang out in every weekend. It had 4 sets of bunk beds, tables, a fireplace, TV, a fridge, etc. The whole lot. One night we were all hanging out in there when I decided I needed to take a pee. I walked out of the front door of the shed and I started to walk to the right when I stopped. Now let me explain the layout here. As you walk out of the shed, his house is to the left and to the right is where we all parked our cars. Further out, you're left with empty fields and trees. It was dark by now. The lights from the house illuminating the space between the house and our cars, but trailing off just past them. As I took a step to the right, intending to go behind the cars, I saw my friend's older brother standing there. I watched him for a good 5 to 10 seconds as he stood there, facing into the darkness. He then proceeded to walk behind a couple trees and a car before he disappeared. Confused, I walked back into the shed and asked my friend what his brother was doing by the cars. The conversation went as follows. Me. Hey man, where's your brother? Or, that's not what he said. I just can't talk. Hey,
where's your brother?
I just can't talk.
That's what I feel like the conversation would go.
Yeah.
Really?
Me. Hey man, what's your brother doing behind the cars? Him. What do you mean? Me. He just walked off behind the cars. The brother. I'm right here. Oh my god. I would die.
No.
I looked over and there was his brother, sitting down on one of the chairs with a drink. He was wearing the exact same clothes as I saw him in, and the only way to get into the shed was through the door that I was standing in the way of. To this day, I have no idea how it all happened. I'm guessing I was just seeing things, but the fact that I watched him walk around for a good 10 seconds has always puzzled me. I've never had anything else like this happen to me. That is terrifying.
I can't even. That's so scary.
I know. And like, he knows what he's seen. Like, you would know that. Like, you would know what you've seen, especially like he stood there for that long watching him and he was wearing the same clothes, like, and he walked behind the trees like that. Ugh.
Especially since you had enough time to analyze what clothes he was wearing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then know he was wearing the same clothes. You know what you saw.
I would have chills. Immediate chills.
I would be like, what did I just see? That's scary.
It is.
Okay, the next one here. This is, without a doubt, the scariest and most unexplainable thing to me that has ever happened to me. One Saturday night, several months ago, I attended a birthday party at a friend's house. There were about 40 people in attendance. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Split between the basement and the main floor. I didn't go down the basement even once because the music down there was extremely loud, which I hate, and most of my friends were on the main floor anyway. My best friend had given me a ride to the party and we stayed together the whole night. A few days later, I ran into a distant friend of mine at school who had also been in attendance. He took out his phone and started showing me some of the photos he'd taken that night. He got to one that showed him and a girl posing for the camera in the basement, with me standing in the background, smiling and looking in the direction of the camera, but not quite at it. I obviously freaked out and told him I hadn't been in the basement. He told me he had seen me there several times, or seen me there for several minutes. He said he had tried to say hello, but I seemed distant and distracted. I called my best friend and she confirmed that I'd been with her the entire night. I was not drunk or drugged. I drank nothing I drank nothing all night but a water bottle that I brought with me. To this day, when I think about the picture, it scares the crap out of me. There must have been another me in the basement.
My God. That's literally terrifying. That's literally that story too. There was another one of his brother. Like, what the
heck? Like,
wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. And terrifying also.
Doppelganger?
Yeah.
Like, mimic? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Something creepy.
Something that's not right.
Yeah. Something that shouldn't be happening.
Sorry, I just burped.
That's okay.
Podcast burp.
Yeah, podcast burps. 10 years ago, I was returning home from a road trip with 2 friends. I received a phone call from my parents asking when we would be arriving, and I explained that we were about 25 minutes away. About a minute later, we came around a bend. It was a full moon, and we could see the reflection from a lake below us, and other than that, the road was completely empty. Suddenly, everything went completely dark in the car. No lights from the dash or gauges or headlights on the road. The music also stopped and restarted at the beginning of the CD we were listening to. There was now a vehicle pulled over by the police about a half mile in front of us that hadn't been there a split second before. I assumed I had dozed off for just a second because it was late. I thought it was still quite particular though. After about a minute, the driver of the car turned the music all the way down and said, "Did that just happen to anyone else?" The other passenger in the back seat sat forward abruptly and exclaimed, "I thought I just fell asleep." We then realized that the clock in the car was reading an hour later than it just had a minute before. To keep ourselves from freaking out, we decided that the car had possibly had a momentary electrical failure and reset the clock to an odd time, turned off the dash lights, headlights, and gauges, and restarted the CD player. But when we arrived home 25 minutes later, we were 1 hour late. I am missing an hour of my life, and to this day, I have no idea how it happened.
Oh my gosh.
That's literally terrifying. We were literally just talking about, like, missing
time.
hours. Yeah, like, yeah. I hate that. So creepy.
And, like, how do you even explain that to somebody? Like,
I know.
Be like, I just missed an hour. That's kind of like how it was whenever I told you about how Jeremy woke up at 4.
Mm-hmm.
He thought it was 5.
Yeah.
But it was really 4 o'clock, and he was getting ready because he said the alarm clock went off on my phone. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't have an alarm set for 4 o'clock, and it's 4:27 right now. Like, what are you doing up?
That's so crazy.
Because I told that story a few episodes ago, because what happened was, I'll just tell it again. Jeremy woke up, I guess, at 4, because he gets up at 5 for work, and I was still sleeping. But, like, I woke up because I felt like something was off. Because you know how, like, your normal routine, if something, like, isn't right, you normally feel like something's wrong.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. So I was like, I like reached over and he wasn't there. And I was like, okay. And then I opened my eyes and I looked at the alarm clock and I was like, it's 4:27. And I remember that because I remember, like, being confused. And I was like, what's going on? Why isn't he up here? And like, I was like, got kind of mad because I was like, where is he? So I went downstairs and he was just sitting on the couch, like, on his phone like he does every morning. And I'm like, what are you doing up right now? And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm getting ready for work. I'm like, it's 4:27. It's 4:30. Like, what are you doing up? Like, you don't get up yet. And he was like, I swear it's 5. And he checked his phone. And he was like, it's 4:30. What? And then he came to bed. But, like, he said that my alarm clock went off on my phone. And I was like, it did not. So and creepy. Normally my alarm clock, like, it's connected to my watch. So it goes off on my watch. So normally it wakes me up because my watch vibrates. So, like, I would have woken up if his alarm clock did go off. And I'm just like, he had, like, a time slip or something. Like, that's freaky.
That was definitely an example of a glitch in the Matrix.
Definitely, or something, because, like, I don't know. And we've had, like, a weird thing happen before. When we first moved into our house, he swore that I turned off one of the alarm clocks that went off. And I was like, I was still sleeping. Like, it wasn't me. So then he was joking. He was like, we have a ghost in our house. And I was like, you don't believe in that stuff, but we probably do. Yeah. They probably turned it off because, like, they were like, sleep.
Whose turn is it? Is it your turn?
You can go, because I just said that. So
okay.
That can count as my story.
When I was a teenager, I had 2 really intense dreams one night. First one was about an online friend of mine calling me to say she'd broken up with her boyfriend. And I sang a few lines of Sill's Don't Cry to her over the phone. The second dream was finding a real life dead body floating in her bathtub. That would be terrifying.
What?
I didn't think anything of it up until I logged in online that evening, and the online friend came online to tell me her boyfriend had broken up with her. I immediately asked if I could call her, and she said no. I remember thinking that it meant something, like I could change it. Not long after, my phone rang, and it was the real life friend from the dream calling me. I was completely freaked out at this point, but I talked to her normally. She wasn't just talking about school and stuff. Up until I realized I heard a splash in the background. I asked her, "Are you in the tub?" And when she said yes, I felt like my heart had stopped. I asked her, "What did you do?" She didn't answer me right away, and then after a very long pause, she told me she'd taken an entire bottle of pills and chased it with mushrooms and vodka. She'd gotten scared waiting for it to hit her, so she called me and she'd hear someone's voice. I hung up and called 911. By the time they got there, she was unconscious but alive. Today, she's a mom to a beautiful little girl and she's okay. That is literally crazy. Like, she's seen that, like, wow.
I can't.
I know.
That. Wow.
Yeah.
How do people, because, like, I feel like I get that sometimes. Like, I feel like it's, like, deja vu, but, like, it's not deja vu. So, like, I can't even wrap my head around it. Like, it's...
Exactly. That's crazy.
Wow. I don't know. Like, that's just so... Like, I feel like we keep saying that's crazy and stuff like that. But, like,
it really is crazy.
Like, I can't... Like, things like that, like, you can't even think about. So, here's the next one. Last spring, when my son was 3 years old, we drove by a big white church. This church is one that we pass often driving around town. It's also a place of his current preschool, but at the time he attended a different preschool and had never stepped foot in or talked about the big white church. So we drove by one day and he said, "Oh, there's a church that I ate cereal in." My husband and I look at each other and I said, "What do you mean? We've never been there before." He asked some additional questions, but he didn't really answer. However, he was very adamant about being there and eating cereal. This happened during a very difficult time in our lives. My father-in-law was on hospice and dying of cancer. 4 weeks we were up and back to my in-laws' house, the church being along that route. I was trying to say road and route at the same time, so I said route. Talking is hard. He said it a few more times and never mentioned it again. Fast forward to today. He currently attends preschool at said church. He has been going since September and we love it. It is Christian, though we aren't very religious. Anyway, I got the monthly newsletter and I mentioned that next month is pajama day, where the kids wear pajamas and eat cereal. I told my son and asked him if he remembered eating cereal there before. He said no and had no recollection of saying that he did. Is there an explanation to this? It gives me chills when I think about it.
Wow.
It's like he could see in the future that he was going to eat cereal or something. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Imagine seeing the future while you're eating cereal.
Yeah. Oh, I have so many more, but we don't have to read them all.
No, same.
You can read a few more.
Yeah. I have a sleep tracking app on my phone that has a setting for lucid dreaming. It will start saying, "You are dreaming," repeatedly in a woman's voice with a bit of an echo. I was at work one day when I started hearing the voice randomly every few minutes or so. I checked my phone, and as soon as the screen turned on, I woke up in my bed as the sun was rising. A bit freaked out, I went to take a shower. Then on my way to work, I started to hear the voice again through the radio. When I turned my car off, I once more woke up in my bed as the sun was rising. This happened about 3 or 4 more times, all at different times of the day. I didn't really trust reality for about a week, and after that, I still refused to use that particular setting of the app.
Oh my gosh.
That's literally terrifying.
Like, it's like you're having Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Or like
Literally.
The one Supernatural episode where Sam just keeps waking up, and then Dean keeps dying. He's stuck in a loop, and he has like 100 Tuesdays. But like, that is...
I'd be mad. I would have to keep getting up early to go to work.
I know. I'd be like, seriously, can I just sleep? Or do I have to keep getting up and get ready? Like, this is not what I want to do all the time. Here's my next one. My voice said something else. This just happened, and my fiance and I are a little freaked out. He couldn't find his phone, and I offered to call him. When he found his phone, he answered on speaker and said hello while next to me. I answered with hello too, but when we heard my voice coming from his phone, it was me clearly saying, hey. We looked at each other and I ended the call. We couldn't come up with a rational explanation, which does not mean there isn't one. We just couldn't think of one. It made me think of those scenes in the horror movies where a character is standing in front of a mirror and their reflection doesn't match their movement.
Nope.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. This happened back in college. I was driving home from my cabin in northern Wisconsin through the Indian reservation. There was a man on the side of the road, sort of limping along, and I pulled over and asked if he was okay. He said yes, he was fine. He just needed to get home because his wife decided she still loved him.
Oh, that's wow. That's sad.
Yeah. They'd had a fight. I asked the man where home was, and surprisingly, it was the same city where I went to college, about 2 hours away. I offered him a ride. He didn't talk much. He was tired. When we got into town, he started giving me directions. Just down here. It's close, he said. Take a left at the lights. Okay, I said. Right here, he said, pointing after the white truck. Here, I pulled into the driveway. Yes. Shut up. I said. What? He asked. He was grinning like he knew what I was going to say next. I used to live here, I told him. He said, you don't say. I said, yes, upstairs, apartment number 3. He said, yeah, that's ours. Now he was smiling ear to ear. Small world, he said. He thanked me for the ride and got out of my car and walked through the front door of my old apartment building. I know it was just a coincidence, but it was one of the strangest moments of my life. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
What are the chances? And also, that was a really nice guy to drive him 2 hours to his house.
Yeah, but like, how did the guy know that was like their apartment building before? He was like, because he smiled at him, like,
yeah,
like he knew what he was gonna say.
I don't know. Maybe because he said like, "Shut up," like in a like he knew he was gonna say something like not mean because it was like a jokingly way.
Yeah, that's crazy though. I mean, that is like a coincidence, but at the same time, like, it though.
I know. Is it though?
Okay, so here's my next one. This one doesn't have to do with me, but more with my mom. This happened on a Friday. I was walking home from school. Everybody knows the feeling. You're done with all the crap from the past week and ready for the weekend. I get that. Once I got home, I left my backpack on the couch. My mom had a shocked look on her face. I asked her what was wrong. I picked you up early for a dental appointment and now you're here, she told me. I was not spooked, just a little confused. I gave her a hug and went to grab my backpack off the couch where I left it when I got home. It was not there. Keep in mind, there was no one in the house but us. I asked my mom if she moved it. She didn't. After looking for a while, I found it in the passenger seat of my mom's car. I felt confused and shocked at the same time. I walked home. There was no way it could have just teleported the car like that. I still have no idea how it did that. And like the mom knew.
Yeah.
Like she took them to the dentist and then walked home.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Literally every single one of these are insane.
I'm really scared driving home later.
I know.
Ooh, okay, we're gonna read a couple more because this next one.
I have a few, but this one stands out. I was catching a sky train in one particular city about 15 minutes from where I get off. While I wait, there is a woman with glazed eyes asking people for money. She came up to me, stopped briefly, and asked, "Excuse me, could you spare some money? My brother is in the hospital and I'd like some money to buy him some flowers." That's rich, I thought. Drug addicts are getting more and more obvious with their lines. Here's $5. I gave it to her without looking at her in the face, convinced of her intentions. Anyways, my train pulls up and I get on. I look through the glass at her walking around asking others for money as the train pulled away. The train arrives at the station 15 minutes later and I walk down and out to the bus stop. There is only one bus the direction I'm going, and just my luck. It is there waiting when I get off the train. So on the bus, I hop on and wait for the bus driver to finish reading his paper before the doors close and we embark down the highway. About 5 to 10 minutes traveling, the driver pulls over for a routine stop. The doors open, and to my complete astonishment, the woman from the SkyTrain walks into the bus, a dozen roses in hand. She looks me in the eyes as she walks past to take her seat. How in the blue hell did she get there? Blue hell.
I've never heard that line before. I love that.
Me too. It was funny. I took the train before her. I watched her at the train stop from inside as we pulled away. I went over a river. I caught the first and only bus going this particular direction. And not only did she beat me there, she had time to go to a store and buy a dozen roses. To this day, I have no idea how this happened.
Wow.
That is so crazy. Also, he probably feels bad because she did buy the roses.
Yeah, she just wanted it for, yeah. These are all, like, similar, too.
I know.
This next one, it could be possibly about alien abductions. Yeah. That's why I want to read it, because I'm a weirdo. This is a relatively short story, but still creeps me out to this day because of how certain I am of it. Oh my god. So I was working in Pittsburgh, PA, in a travel job where I could stay in hotels throughout the week and then travel home for the weekend. I got off at 5 o'clock per usual, and before I got on the PA Turnpike, I stopped at a mom and pop style gas station to fuel up for the trip home. Got my gas, went and paid for it, and headed for the Turnpike. I drove for maybe 2.5 hours before I decided I was going to pull off and get a quick bite and use the bathroom. I punched in my GPS the nearest gas station and headed to it. And I swear to God, I pulled into this exact same mom and pop gas station. I walked in to get a burger and almost fell over. I was so freaked out. Finished up in the station, walked out of the truck, and my GPS reflected I was in the same spot. This 2.5 hours of driving completely erased as it was after 7 o'clock. I should have been halfway home. The only logic is I have fell asleep at the station, but surely someone would have woke me up if I was there that long. I remember the drive and the gas in my truck reflected I had been driving. It's my only ever glitch and still baffles me. But the top theory says time slipping, possibly due to alien abduction. So that's why I was like, yeah. But I didn't even see that it was from they were in Pittsburgh. I wonder what gas station it was.
No.
Like, tell us, because I want to know. We'll read 2 more.
Do you want to read another one while I find one more?
Sure.
Okay.
So here's another one. I'll read this one. When I was about 17, my friend and I used to hang out at the mall religiously. There was one day that when we went to that still sticks out in my mind years later. It was closer to the evening and the lights were all half off, which we've never seen before, but the mall was still open as far as we could tell. Although at least a third of the shops were closed and empty. We couldn't figure out why. There wasn't a holiday or anything else that we knew of. That was unusual, but not so strange that to have no plausible explanation. Maybe they had a power outage and they were doing electrical maintenance or something. Something about the atmosphere made it feel eerie, though. The dim lights and the setting sun, the familiar bright and bustling area now darker and quieter. But the part that struck us was there were other people there. There weren't as many people around as usual, but almost everyone we encountered would watch us. Their eyes would follow us and people openly stared expressionlessly at us. No, that's freaky.
I would literally cry.
Yeah. Not the typical glance at as a person walking past. It was as if they seemed surprised to see us there and their eyes would trail us long past what's considered socially appropriate. We both noticed immediately, and at first we felt like celebrities. We drank it in, thinking we must have looked really good that day, but we weren't wearing anything special enough to garner this much attention. We kept checking with each other, looking at our reflections, making sure we didn't have something on our face or something, otherwise drawing attention. We didn't. Still, it continued. I remember that we both saw 2 parents with a young child in a stroller all watch us simultaneously as we walked by. And that was when we were both like, okay, this is getting weird. Why are people looking at us like this? We tried to ignore it, but around 85% of people we passed took notice of us. People of widely varying demographics, elderly people, children, other teens we didn't recognize, shop clerks, and other customers we'd enter a store. People at other tables in the food court. We thought maybe it was because there was a few shoppers around. We started trying to see if people were staring at everyone that passed by, but we didn't see a single person looking at anyone else like that. Instead, we catch people looking dead at us from 40 feet away, ignoring the other passerbys. I remember people eating pretzels on a bench, stopping as they saw us, watching us as we approach, watching us as we walk past. Looking over our shoulders to see them watching us as we walked away. It started to feel like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It wasn't like any open malice, annoyance, or intimidation exactly, but it was like they were amused, attracted, or intrigued either. These weren't friendly glances. It was uncomfortable, like we didn't belong somehow, and everybody knew it. We'd normally spend hours or even the whole day at the mall, but we barely lasted 45 minutes before we called my dad to pick us up again, to his surprise, and when he noticed it too when we got there. We were super creeped out, and when we went back the next weekend, everything was normal, and we never experienced anything like that ever again.
Wow.
So the top theory for that is either everyone else at the mall was dead, or the teens had jumped to a different reality and weren't supposed.
Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy. Just imagine, like, you're somewhere, and then people are just staring at you. You know how uncomfortable it is whenever people just, like, look at you for, like, 5 seconds?
Yeah.
Imagine, like, the whole entire time. For 45 minutes, everybody was just staring at them. I couldn't. Like, I'd be, like, I don't know.
I know. Some of these really shiver me timbers.
They really do. And I'm like, ooh.
I know.
Goosebumps all around.
One night, I was scrolling back in my... Scratch that.
Well, no, you read it right, because it says one night I was scrolling back in my Instagram feed. It's just sometimes people word things differently than what we would word them. So I think that's why we have issues.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But you were right. You
the words didn't go together in my head.
Yeah, no, you were right. That's what it says.
One night, I was scrolling back in my Instagram feed. Not sure why I felt like doing that, but I was weirdly compelled to. And I came across a selfie of myself where I had a very strange and unattractive smile. It had no likes. Most of my photos have around 50 to 80 since my friends are active on it. And I don't remember taking it or posting it, though it was from a week before. Max. It spooked me bad and I deleted it. I did not see a copy of it in my camera roll. It happened 7 years ago and I still think about it. What happened? Was that even me? Top theory. An electromagnetic leak from a parallel universe. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's also creepy because, like, where did that picture even come from?
Right? And if they don't remember taking it.
Weird.
How did that even happen? Like, how did it even end up there? They had in, like, a parallel universe.
That's, like, almost as creepy as the one that I just tried to read a second time with the picture of the girl in the basement. And she wasn't even down there.
Was that, like, a glitch in the Matrix here?
Yeah.
Because, like
weird.
That is weird. But before we end, I do want to say that story from my mom.
Yeah.
I might cut this depending on if she's okay with me sharing it or not. But she texted me yesterday while I was at work. And she was like, so I'm sufficiently freaked out. So yeah, I've seen the Pikachu Mandela effect before. Do you know what the Mandela effect is? I do. Sure. But when I looked it up on Google, no black tip on his tail. Then I'm like, weird. I know for a fact I've done them before with black tip tails. I distinctively remember outlining the black. But then I looked through 5 years of cakes I've done, 4 Pikachu cakes, without any of them with black tip tails. WTF. And then she sent me a picture of the tail, like one of the pictures, like cakes that she did. And it doesn't have a black tip. But I remember that Mandela effect of Pikachu having a black tip tail. But apparently he doesn't. So I said, oh my god, I know the Mandela effect. I want to do a podcast episode about it. But yes, I remember Pikachu having a black tail too. And she was like, yeah, but what's freaking me out is I know I did cakes with black tip tails. Not one of the ones I did have it. Like, that means something changed with me.
Whoa.
So she just had a glitch in the Matrix because she remembers doing them with black tip tails, and now none of them do. Because she takes pictures of all the cakes that she's done. So here is the one cake that she did do.
He had a black tip tail. I know.
That's what I was saying. Then I was talking to Jocelyn yesterday, and she was like, "No, he didn't." I was like, "Yes, he did. He definitely I remember having him a black tip tail."
That's crazy.
Isn't that like insane?
Yeah.
And whenever she texted me that, I was like, "Oh my god!"
That's like the Berenstein Bears, or apparently the Berenstain Bears.
It's Berenstein.
It's Berenstein.
And like the cornucopia on Fruit Loom, it was there.
It was
Monopoly guy has a monocle, like. But, like,
it's crazy.
That was definitely a glitch in the Matrix because, like, she knows she's done them.
She did it,
And then now they're not there?
Yep.
And she takes pictures of all her cakes. Oh, my God. I'm going to go back because I have pictures of her cakes. Let me go, because she might have sent me one. Let me look at, like, really quick look, because I know I was looking in it, like, October last year.
That's so crazy.
October, December, here we go. I know I took pictures of it. I saved her pictures of all her cakes for some reason on my phone. Don't remember why, but I did. Here we go. So there's SpongeBob. She might not have sent me any of them. No, I don't have any pictures of the Pikachu ones. But I know for a fact, like, she has showed me them. But
yeah.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
So yeah, that's the end of the Glitch in the Matrix episode.
It was a fun one.
With some technical difficulties that we caught throughout. So yeah, if you could please rate us on your Spotify.
5 stars. 5 stars. 5 stars.
And then we do have polls on the end of our on our episodes. So if it asks you what your thoughts were, so if you could just put in what your thoughts were about this episode, if you liked it, so we know your feedback, and so we know what to give you content wise going forward. And then follow our social medias: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Dreadfully Twisted Podcast. You can send us your stories or episode ideas or case ideas or paranormal ideas you want us to cover. You can email it to dreadfullytwistedpodcast@gmail.com or comment on our Reddit page or /dreadfullytwistedpod. Follow our Spotify. You can listen on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, and YouTube. So go follow all those because we try to keep them all different with posting wise. And I will post that video of that orb.
Follow, share with your friends. We love you.
Yes, it helps us stay relevant and helps the podcast get out there. And we appreciate you listening to us.
Yes, we do.
And we love you.
We love you.
And stay positive.
Be a good person.
Smile. It's good for you.
Yes. Don't be bad people like ones we talk about on this podcast.
And don't be like them.
Yeah, don't be like them at all.
Be a good person.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.